On one of the earliest ever episodes of Beyond the Trail, back in 2021, we visited Cliff Barackman's North American Bigfoot Center in the Mount Hood area of Oregon. Now that a few years has gone by, I've returned to visit Cliff once again and to see what new finds he and his team have uncovered in the research areas they relentlessly study.
At least one of us is out in the field every single week, and very often, if you count all the faculty here at the North American Bigfoot Center, we're covering the woods probably 3, 4, 5 days a week sometimes. A lot is going on, and I don't expect it to ever stop. The museum is this ever-growing sort of organism in a lot of ways. We don't sit still very long here at the North American Bigfoot Center. From the very first day we opened back in August of 2019, the place has been growing. We've been adding. New artifacts have been added to the collection. We've started archiving our historical collection. We have new displays all the time because new stuff happens all the time. There are three main reasons the North American Bigfoot Center exists at all. Number one is to educate the public. Number two is to find and curate historical collections because those things are going to be of interest someday after discovery. And finally, the third thing is to use incoming data, incoming information to drive our own field research. And that is just doing fantastic as well. At least one of us is out in the field every single week. And very often, if you count all the faculty here at the North American Bigfoot Center, we're covering the woods probably 3, 4, 5 days a week sometimes. A lot is going on, and I don't expect it to ever stop. It seems to me that we've taken countless reports since we've been open, but we've been doing our best to document them on paper and on the computer and maps for at least the last 3. The first couple years, we would probably take a few notes and that sort of stuff. But once we really got up and running and we felt comfortable in what we were doing, we started documenting these local sightings. Now, we of course hear a lot of reports from places like Ohio or Texas or Tennessee or something like that. We don't bother with those. We are focused on our immediate vicinity here. Oregon and Washington. If somebody shares those reports with us, and they're good reports, then we take copious notes about it, and then we add those to a location sightings map that we just use internally for our own information. As of now, summer of 2024, looking back, I bet you we've taken 30 to 50 reports, probably from Oregon and Washington, and several of those are from our immediate vicinity. Some of the more interesting ones that have crossed my plate are several car roadside crossings in one of my study areas. I've got 3 main study areas that I frequent, and this happened literally inside one of them. And on February 2nd, one of our fellow researchers that we collaborate with here locally saw 2 Sasquatches on the very same place. I've casted footprints no less than 8 or a dozen times. He observed the animals we had been tracking for the last few years. The 14-inch foot and the 12-inch foot is what we call them. He saw them both on the same road where we've been pulling their tracks. That's pretty cool. In January, I got word of a sighting report on a Thursday evening 8 miles from my front door, up at a place called Sandy Ridge Trailhead. Sunday, I had a job that weekend, so Sunday was my first opportunity to go to the location with the witnesses. They were standing where they saw the thing. They tried to put me where they thought it was. We eventually found tracks. In fact, we found 150 yards of tracks. I came back with, I think, 7 casts from that same trackway, and 3 months later, more tracks appeared less than 1 mile away. And I went to that location, same individual. So that's kind of what we're looking at here at the North American Bigfoot Center. I think tracking these animals is probably the most important thing we could be doing to learn about the species. Because only through tracks can you learn about where the animals go, how big their territory is, what their food items they might be going after possibly are, their social structure, their population. These are the kinds of things you can learn by studying their tracks and their trackways. There's no other way to get that kind of information. Mount Hood National Forest is one of the most busy national forests in the entire country. More people visit here than almost any other national forest. So there are Sasquatches here, lots of people around. That means there's lots of sighting reports. But where do those people go to share their sighting reports? I mean, there's a few online resources they could go to, a few, researchers here and there, but how are they going to find them? But here we are. The North American Bigfoot Center has a very big antenna, and we are attracting all sorts of witnesses that have seen things locally to our facility, and which is fantastic because, being on Finding Bigfoot was great, but I care so much less about the Bigfoots in Virginia than I do the ones in my virtual backyard. And we are getting that information sometimes the very day it happens.
We're out at an area that the NABC calls Easter Island. Our museum members are very familiar with it because we come out here all the time. It's a very active location, and I'm just kind of showing Aleks here around, and we're going to do some quick little procedures, set some trail cameras, maybe go pick up an LDR if we feel like it. But yeah, I'm just showing him some of the things like these tree twists over here that have jumped out at us recently and are cool to look at.
And you're keeping good notes on everything,
yes,
right? So
I'm keeping notes. So
protocol.
We have
I don't
a
have
protocol.
to show specifically anything on.
Oh, I mean, it's good for everybody to know.
Just a generic.
Kind of one of the things at the museum that we're about is education, right? And so if we can make better researchers with the research we're doing, then I'm happy to share how we do it, right?
Absolutely.
And so this is a little research form that I built that's, just keeping track of, data basically.
Yeah.
So it's got time in, time out, where we are, and specific locations within where we're going.
Sure. Who's present, the weather and temperature, and then more importantly, the data observed, right? Including nothing. If nothing happens, we make a note of that. So, but then you can draw from that record. I mean, and this is what biologists, other people studying landscapes, they're going out here, they're keeping consistent notes like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a good practice in general, and that's a great way to do it. It's super simple. I think people think of the idea it's too complicated. You've got a whole elaborate journal. Oh, it's such a pain. Mm-hmm. This looks super easy, man. You've got like a few things up here, and then nothing happened. You just write your notes, and no problem.
No data is still data.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
All of this stuff is really easy. I mean, you should be kind of keeping track of that stuff anyway. So yeah, I built it. I ran it through some colleagues of mine that work in other museums, and I think there's a more intense one. This is just the field one, and then we take this and we put it into the system back at the base.
But if you find, like, let's say we find a new print or a new tree break, do you just put that on that form, or do you then do a separate form about like that particular find?
There's a separate form, yeah. So for the tracks stuff, like the tracks, the footprints, all those things, we have a separate form that monitors length, how many tracks. We have a whole rating system for the tracks, so we can get a gauge of like, all right, where on this scale of, basically it's 1 to 5, 1 to 6. We give it some points and we divide it in whatever, and it's a lot of fun. And it's really good, actually. That specific form, or that specific rating scale with the tracks, it's really good because I have found that I tend to be a little bit harder on tracks, whereas Cliff, for example, tends to be a little more excited about tracks, and so it's a good here's an even ground.
Yeah, makes sense.
So yeah,
awesome, cool.
So there we go. Shows a lot of characteristics that a lot of the other tree twists we've been finding out here have, which it's like the initial break, like at the top here. Actually, let me get a better pointer here. Good old handy dandy tape measure.
Yeah, you can see it's twisting around.
But yeah,
it's pretty impressive.
The initial break right at the top here is not, super interesting.
Yep.
But it's actually when you get down lower, come around.
Get on this side, yeah.
When you come down lower, that it starts to get more interesting. The break at the top is not the most crazy thing, but you look down here, you've got branches woven together. This one's actually, it's broken on this side and it weaves around and back in front. There's a bunch of weaving right here. So it's really weird. And what makes this one even weirder is that if you look right over here, there's more.
There's another one.
There's another
Have you guys searched this one for hair or anything?
We did.
Okay.
This one and these ones over here. This one's been broken for a while, so I don't think this is one.
It'll just be that looks like stuff I've seen before where snow load and
just nature, yeah.
Yeah.
But this one's really cool because it's not a tree, it's a branch. I've never seen that happen before. But the break's right here, and it goes back over, down, and up and back and around, and you see the same thing with the weaving.
Yeah, that's right.
And I've never I've never put too much stock into tree twists.
I've never been a big tree twist guy either, or structures, that kind of thing.
But these things are happening.
Yeah.
In a lot of the places where we're having results from other things.
And you're getting tracks.
And they're all matching, right? Yeah. And the weird thing is this particularly, speaking of not really looking at tree twists, I've never seen it on just a branch like this. It's always been these little saplings.
So here's another twist that Nico was showing me. What's interesting is you have this kind of wrapping around here, and I've said it before, I'm not a huge tree twist structure guy. It's fascinating. I mean, it'd be nice to see what did it. That would be much more of a we'd be able to say one way or another. There you have it.
Nico and I then proceeded to another nearby area, one in which Nico had what he believed was a possible Sasquatch sighting in recent years.
Sweet, so we just doused some bear prints. Huh?
Yeah, those would have been pretty good.
Oh man, yeah, we gave him a little bath.
Oh well.
Is there any behind you?
Yeah.
That's
cool. Really cool.
Yep.
Oh, this is really cool because look, you got the front foot right here, and you got the claw impressions, and then this is the hind right here.
Gotta love it. And then you got him right here. Yep, there
Love
he goes. Coming up here, you can see the goes pretty good here. Very
Oops.
Cool, so.
Thankfully, they were not Sasquatch.
Yeah. Oh man, we would be beating ourselves up. Was rolling.
That was interesting. I write that down. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock on the nose.
And I'm recording, so I happen to be zooming in. Just a quick little.
It could have just been
stick break or something.
But that sounded like a big stick that got stepped on. Like you're not gonna out Sasquatch the Sasquatch, right? So my philosophy is you come in, you act normal, you go do your thing, right? You talk, you don't act like all stealthy because then you look like a predator, right?
Don't come out whooping and knocking right away.
Right. We don't make a whole lot of noises anyway. Like I've got the knocker, I rarely use it.
Yeah. You guys ever try anything like interest-wise? Play like weird, I don't know, play music or something like that?
Every once in a while, I'll have my music playing with the windows down.
Normal camping things, though.
Yeah, just normal camping things. And every once in a while we'll try something. Like during the sighting, like after the sighting, rather, I had a whip in my car.
Oh,
so I wasn't cracking it. I was just swinging it because it makes that whoosh sound, and that seemed to make him go, "Ooh, what the heck's going on here?" And it was when I cracked it once, it stopped. We heard them take off after that. So, Yeah, so I don't know. We play around, but, you know.
See what works and what doesn't, right? Yeah, I hear it.
That was movement.
Mm-hmm.
That was movement that time.
In the same direction. Oh.
Over here?
Almost like down here.
Dude. Keep that thing rolling.
Oh, it's. I'm
I
not.
didn't break.
I'm not turning it off.
Both of our cameras were.
Flush something out, huh?
Yeah. Both of our cameras were in other and clip Dave's hands, so just walk a little bit. Let's walk. See, this is almost.
Oh.
What you got?
Thought I heard something down there. Slight movement. Could be anything though.
This is kind of what was happening.
Yeah.
That we had a sighting. We were walking this. This is kind of a loop. Like it's two roads that do this, and you have to bushwhack to connect. We walked this way. We came out that way. That's the road we saw the thing on.
What time of day was that?
This time of day.
Dusk.
Dusk.
Wow.
August 7th. This time of day. Got a little darker.
I mean, this is a great area because, I mean, something could just lay still against the tree and you probably wouldn't even be able to tell. Oh,
Stump. So someone just stumps out here too.
love a good stump squatch.
Oh, the one I saw, we thought it was a stump too. I was looking at it and I was just like,
Is you guys mark that? No.
I would say that, you know, if what we just heard is a Sasquatch,
Which is a big if, of course.
A big if, of course. Yeah. But if it is, it's probably already aware that we're here. We've been making noise.
Yeah, we're not.
Door slamming.
But even
like
if we were stealthy, I don't think it would make that much of a difference.
No. So the best thing we can do is just keep going about our business.
Yep.
And if it feels interested enough.
Good stump squatch right there. Yep.
Yeah.
Zoom in on it now. Yeah, it's a stump. With the lighting now, I mean, it's.
Yeah.
You can see Bigfoot on the brain.
That's kind of what I saw, though. It was like, we saw it sitting there. It was dead still. This thing was dead still. And I'll take you to the spot and I'll show you exactly. I'll even give you the recreation I made.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I did like a drawing. And then I photoshopped a picture with the, like, we took the camera from my view and I photoshopped Murphy into it. And that's exactly what I saw.
That would be awesome to see, yeah.
So the idea is we're going to leave this stuff fish. If I can get the camera next to
Yeah,
see.
I mean, obviously this isn't a tried and true method. This is just an opportunity that I'm like, let's take it.
And if not, you get some other cool critters that might
Exactly
do the same thing.
And, you know, all of this fish was going to end up in the trash anyway, so I was like, let's give it some use instead of just throwing it away.
There you go.
Okay, so this is where I was standing when I saw the thing.
Wow.
And if you look straight ahead from where I'm standing, there's a little bit of a clearing and you can see a flat stump just at the bottom of this like clearing between the trees. And I'll go stand where the thing was if you want to.
Yeah, if you want.
That was me. Okay. But it was peeking out like this and it was dead still and I thought it was a stump, and so I was just sitting here. Connor and Keith are sitting here coming up with a plan. And I'm looking at it. Connor sees that I'm looking at something, and he's like, what are you looking at? And I go, that. And when I point at it, you see...
movement over there.
Uh-huh. I hear it too. Oh. It's just like last time, man. If it were a bear, it would have stayed over there.
Wouldn't come at us.
No.
That's where we're hearing something from. It's kind of funny as he's telling me where he's saw this thing. Oh, there it is again.
Mm-hmm. Let's let it get closer.
Yeah.
Let's just keep talking.
Why not?
So yeah, it was there. I saw the hair raise on it. Hyaloerection, that's what that's called. And
Razorback.
huh?
razorback? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, like raising your hackles, you know.
Cat when they like you know, poof up.
Yeah, so same idea. See the space right there?
This space right there?
That's the one.
Yep, that's where it was?
That's where it was.
Wow. And so what did you see, just right to left?
Well, I saw it standing there looking at us, and I couldn't make out arms or legs because it was just kind of leaning out from behind the foliage there, and it was just staring at us, and I thought it was a stump. So I was looking at it, and I was pointing at it, and I was like, what is this? And then Connor came up, or I shouldn't say he came up, he suggested this idea that I guess the Area X guys do, where they, mix each other up, and then one sits and the rest leave. We did that. The drop off. Yeah. Connor was going to sit, and Keith and I were going to head back to the cars, which are just right up the road here, and we were going to see if anything followed us. And while we did that, to see if we tricked it into revealing itself, if it still was a stump, it probably would still be there after I was done looking at it, right? But if I look back and it's gone, then there we go, mission accomplished. It was very clearly head and shoulders, though. So we mix each other up. Connor sits down. Keith and I walk up, or start walking. I take a look. A few expletives later, it's not there.
It's not there.
Yeah,
that is super cool.
Following day, we brought Cliff back. Cliff was actually on his way back from a conference, and he was on a plane. And so we were when we were leaving, we were like trying to call him, and he couldn't answer, of course, because he was on the plane. But we came back the next day with Cliff, found tracks leading away from the spot. No tracks leading up to it, though.
Interesting.
Footprints, at least. There was suggestions of movement. So what I think happened is because that's kind of up there and pretty obvious, and why we probably didn't see the legs and arms.
That was like multiple.
Like right up where the thing is.
I don't even know if the cameras will pick that up, how far away it was. And now, again, that same direction left.
It's got to be stuff falling, man.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Because there's not 3-4 different things in different directions.
Right.
That's stretching believability.
It's got to be things falling.
Unless it's smaller stuff, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this would be a good place to put a bunch of fish.
Yeah, why not?
But one thing I want to make sure we do is we don't just put it in a pile. You don't want to just. This is a lot of fish.
Yeah.
Right. I've got 2 trail cameras and 2 bags of fish. We're gonna use all of these fish here, or we're gonna spread it out within the.
I was right there.
Mm-hmm. So
Slight
it's funny that we're seeing movement. This. Heard sounds from over here, and now we're hearing sounds here. Before the sighting, we were here. We heard them come up and spread out around this clearing. Same idea.
Interesting.
God, I kind of hope that isn't one.
Well, I kind of do.
I mean, I do too, but like
but I don't because I'm
not prepared for it.
I know. All right, cool. So we got the fish. It's all gutted.
The fish, they're all gutted.
All good.
I mean, they don't look too bad.
No.
They're even not that stinky. So
yeah, I'm not getting much of a smell.
But yeah, these were fish that were caught and were supposed to be eaten and weren't. And here I am holding the bag with my other hand, so making the glove pointless.
Do you want to put one up on the?
We'll spread it all around.
Or?
We might also just be hearing snapping from the heat.
Yeah.
So we gotta keep that in mind. I'm gonna put one right
multi-directional.
Here. Yeah. I'm gonna put one right here. See what happens, because it's gonna be right in the line of the camera there.
Perfect.
I mean, I could probably get it up there. Whether it's gonna stay, that's the question.
Just stick it in the craw of the tree.
See if I can get my foot.
Oh, yeah, you don't want fish falling on you.
Gross.
What about up here? Just right in this little.
That could work.
Yeah.
And they're not that heavy.
That'll hold it. Now that's a weird place to find a fish.
I think this whole place is a weird place to find a fish.
Tree fish?
Tree fish, ground fish, flying fish. One of these, maybe 1 or 2 of them, would be fun to like sharpen a stick, stab it in the ground right in front of the tree here.
That's right. Stabby fish.
Stabby fish. Sorry, friend. Going towards good cause. I'm actually gonna. This is a little
put it
out of the way.
closer. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe this is the one we put up there.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, not doing that.
I guess leaning it will work. That would be interesting to see something try to knock that down.
Yeah.
Even if a bear tried to do that, how cool of footage would that look
That'd be
like?
so good.
Try to lean it up against that one. I just heard a snap there. I mean, I don't know.
It's tough.
Could just be the trees, man. Like,
It's tough.
with the heat.
But again, that's also one of the benefits of kind of not paying attention to it and just kind of letting it happen and letting it get closer. Because
Well, it always happens when you don't expect it, too. That's
yeah,
kinda usually when it happens.
when you don't expect it, but also, you know, if it isn't anything, then we're not wasting our time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we're doing other things.
Another tree fish. This is dangling tree.
It's got two branches.
Nice.
We can like prop it up for them.
Nice. Fancy.
Do it with.
How's that?
There you go. Perfect.
A little leafy, but
And that's how I
doesn't
cook
that
it
look
over
delicious?
a fire.
Yeah, doesn't that look great?
One.
There you go. Nice.
And two.
On a platter. Here you go.
Now let's set the camera. All right. Here's my Nico patented tried and true method. That is what the camera sees.
There you go. That's genius.
We want to turn it
Wanna see
this
the
way.
fish?
We want the fish front and center. And now they are. There we go.
It's a smart one. Afterwards, we went to a couple of different spots in the area, and as darkness fell, I ended up car camping in a location where Nico and a group of people had heard a very interesting vocalization previously. However, I did not hear anything of note that evening. Okay, so heading out right now with Cliff and one of his team members. They have had some recent activity out here. Today is Monday, and on Saturday, the guy that we're going out with now, he was out here with some other folks. They found some potential tracks and had some tree knocks. I think he said he recorded 3 tree knocks and a number of other stuff. So we're gonna go check out the area. They seem pretty confident there might be the tracks still there. We're hoping to find more, but obviously we won't know until we see. Very exciting. Dave seemed very excited, so I'm naturally excited to see if we can find anything, or if anything is in the area still, or maybe has walked around since. There might be a chance. Check out some muddy areas, see if there's any places with some good prints. Cliff was telling me there's been some excellent footprint casts taken out of this area, and they've had consistent activity out here for years in terms of footprint finds and that sort of stuff. So I'm excited. We'll see kind of what this entails, and yeah, it should be pretty cool. So it turns out the area that we are in, where some of this activity happened, is actually fairly close to where we camped when it was myself and a big group of dudes when we camped out here back in 2021 in the Bigfoot Mountain Beyond the Trail episode, one of the first ever episodes. We did call blasting here, we did the pheromone drone idea, we hung around the area, so it's kind of cool to be seeing an area that we were in and know that years later there's still activity going on here. We didn't really get anything that time we were out here, but we canvassed the area pretty intensely, so just exciting to know there's still stuff in this area. And obviously Cliff and his team, they work the area very consistently, which is, I think, a key to why they have found certain stuff, is because they've always got boots on the ground here and eyes on the ground, and they network with other local researchers as well. So this was a track that was here that was pulled, but really good in the picture.
Because the information that we get here at the North American Bigfoot Center is so often very, very fresh. Sometimes we hear about the sighting the day it happens. We're able to get out to the scene immediately or within a few days at the most. And because of that, honestly, it's really kind of, I've leveled up in tracking in a lot of ways. You know, to use video game or D&D terminology, I've leveled up for sure. I've always been a hobbyist tracker, but having been to the site where Sasquatches were, I'm starting to recognize the very subtle kinds of sign they leave behind. Their footprints are not what I was taught that they would be through the John Green books and all these other things, like these deep, super heavy animals. And yeah, that does happen sometimes, but most of the time their tracks are extraordinarily subtle because they have a big, soft, padded foot, walking on forest duff that springs back into shape almost immediately. Tracks are very difficult to identify until you know what you're looking for. And then it's kind of like, oh, looking down, there's an ant on the ground. Oh my God, there's 10,000 ants on the ground. Once you see it, you see it. And there's really almost no other way to say it than that. Once you learn what you're looking for, you're going, oh yeah, I can do this. Sasquatch tracks are visible. But not only that, when you're looking for anomalies in the ground, certain things start popping up, and upon closer inspection, they're not always footprints. We have found actually quite a few handprints over the last few years in particular. Just last year or so, Nico and I were walking a road down on the Calawash River, and I saw what I thought were initially toe prints, or well, that's weird, it's up on the wall like that, and upon closer inspection, no, handprints. In fact, we had 2 sets of handprints. More investigation in the area yielded not only 14-inch footprints, but 9-inch footprints. Yeah. We're getting footprints quite often. We're getting handprints occasionally too. We're learning a lot about how these animals locomote through their environment.
Next step from that, I thought...
Is that one there to the right?
I thought this was the next step, and I cast that.
Oh, okay.
And I think we could have got really good details if it wasn't my first cast ever.
There's one right here. Nobody casts.
Yeah, I think it,
so then that's
stood here and there. I think there's 2 here,
Yeah.
I think.
Do you guys look for any like fingerprints or
No.
anything? Any like scrape marks with the digging?
You can kind of see some stuff. But
yeah.
This, I think, is the other foot.
Yeah, I was just standing
But
there.
it's just,
kinda,
it had his foot up in here, and you could actually look in here, and you could see 5 toes in here.
Again, this is only a few weeks ago, so
Yes.
probably changed a little bit, but
Yeah,
seems like it's a little wetter here.
I actually
then.
covered it after I cast
Gotcha.
it. I covered it.
I see the plaster right there. Yeah.
This one I haven't
Look,
touched.
there's toes right here, man. There's a couple. There's a toe and there's a toe. And there's a toe there. Right here. So the thing was standing here like shifting its weight a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's a right foot. So that's probably where the left foot was right there. And it was clearly doing something up
We
in
should
here.
check right in there.
So what did you hear first?
We heard a, and I mean we're standing here talking like me, and we'd stopped. I played the recording of all of it, and just right here. Hello, you know.
So were you guys taking a little break, or you just kind
We
of?
were walking. Frank walked down. We were about done hiking. Like, okay, you know, we had gone up that other hill, and like, should we stop? Should we head back and check out some other areas? So he walks down, and me and Neely are standing here, just kind of whispering, kind of talking, and then
Caught you off guard?
what? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So then I instantly, try to turn on my phone camera and see what I can find. Didn't see anything else. Dropped my bag. We kind of walked this way to go. At this point, Frank had come around the corner and said, "I got one over here. I got one over here." So it's like, oh, here we go. They're all in here. So we start walking down, and then I stopped. She kept going. I stopped, and then I heard another knock from right in this area. I thought it was farther down, but my recorder, it picked it up. It was like right next to the recorder. It was
You dropped
right
the
here
recorder?
again. Yeah, I dropped my bag. Recorder's in the bag. And so yeah, 5 minutes from the first one, there was another one, probably the same location. The thing didn't move, even though I was, I'd take a couple steps up the hill, filming everywhere, looking everywhere. And then I went down the road, then another knock from this same spot.
Dave had continuous audio recording on his backpack throughout that day, which recorded 6 hours of audio. The following are 3 of the sounds that they heard, around 4 hours into the audio clip.
Yeah, we are pretty deep out here. You're kidding me.
That's like right up the hill from us.
The audio was also accompanied by 15 minutes of video as the incident was taking place.
What? Hello?
That was close.
I mean, what was that?
That was probably the second. You heard the first wood knock down the way, and this is the.
Yuli, this was 10 feet from us.
I'd say probably like.
What the?
Maybe 50 feet from us.
There was literally something. It's 30 feet in the.
There's something down there just,
What?
and it was keeping up with my pace. It was breaking the brush.
Down into the
I can't go up. I can't go up this. Whatever it was, it didn't move. It's still up there somewhere.
It's following us.
That was it. That was a knock. Oh my god. I haven't heard a knock like that since last May.
Yeah, it's following us. If we keep going.
Go. Go. He's calling us over there. I might walk this way. Literally, something knocked right over here. This is crazy. There was a knock. There was a knock 10 feet from us. As soon as we walked down here, Frank heard one down here. We started walking this way, and we just heard another knock. Almost. Oh my god. Yeah. When I started walking that way, I heard something flying through the trees. I got a rock thrown at me. I've heard 3 knocks from right here. I just heard another knock. The last knock came from way up here. We were standing right here 7 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, and I heard a knock from, 30 feet into the woods. We walked down a ways, and I heard another knock back here where I'm at now. So I've heard 3 knocks.
This is 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Sounds like we need to go in there.
Yeah, if we can, if we can find anything up in there.
From right here, point at the direction you heard it from. That way. Like, is it that way, or is that way, or is that way? Because that's gonna matter.
If I need to kind of check my footage again, but this is the first thing I took out my phone, so I think we may have been right here.
Okay, so where our bags are.
We may have been right here. Yeah. Okay. So she had her scooter by a log, so because she didn't want to go. I think her little scooter was right on the other side of that log. So we heard that knock right up in here.
Okay, so it's slightly to the right.
Right. We're right in front of where we were.
Okay.
So right up in here.
Okay. Gives us a place to start. Looking,
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go up.
This I couldn't get.
Instead of going up here.
I didn't go this way. I didn't go here. I went over there.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
You guys, you went up just into here
I went
when you
up
filmed your
straight
video,
by
right?
I went up straight by this one right here. That's the
that's where
only
you
place I
filmed.
went.
You showed me where you're filming from behind there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the spot.
And nobody else went in?
No, we did not go in there. That's not from us. Guaranteed. I didn't try to go up anymore.
How long did you guys wait until after you heard the last knock to leave?
I'm going to say a half hour.
So you just kind of chilled out?
Yeah, we were listening, walking up and down the road,
Yep. Go ahead, man.
I don't even know if I'm going to
Go up
go
there?
up there.
Yeah, you can see right down on the trail there if you're up here. It's cooler up here.
It is. There's a nice breeze. I'd guess that the thing's just right in here somewhere.
I mean, if you had to estimate distance of sound, I know that's tricky.
50 feet.
50 feet?
Yeah, 50 feet. I mean, I'll play the recorder. We'll have to listen to that
Yeah.
from a hike back. Just, I feel like it was just right in here.
There's a little trample down right here. Look at this.
And I knew it was gonna be like this. There's no way. I mean, what do we?
You said one of the knocks sounded almost like a clap kind of
It
thing?
did.
But the rest sounded woody?
There was one that sounded really like wood on wood.
Maybe we find like an impact.
I've kind of hypothesized that they're doing some
cupping.
kind of a on their chest or like with their mouths, but
Yep.
one of them sounded like wood on wood.
I mean, this just goes straight up.
It does.
So if you needed a retreat,
Oh yeah.
they'd be able to get up there without. You
This-
guys would have no chance.
Yeah, I think no. There's a little pocket lake up here too.
Yeah, a nice big tree. So here's something that's been pushed down right here. Maybe even a toe or 2 or 3.
Yeah, I can
Right
see that.
there.
You can even see it on camera.
Yeah. You can also see
Yeah.
the gut is pushed down there.
I don't know.
There's another one there.
Ooh, that's not creepy.
And here's the front of it right here.
Yeah.
And there's the heel of it right
Look
there.
at this. What do you think of this? I mean, it's a little. It's
Yeah,
kind
it
of
looks
going.
like it's been pushed down.
It's going over this little root here.
Mm-hmm. Could be one.
This is prickly though, but I don't imagine
don't
that would matter. Your feet are hardened,
That's not their concern.
not weak. So shoe-wearing primates. I don't know if you can see it, but that's the trail. And you can see in second place right there. Perfect place to hang out. It's cooler up here. I mean, this is so nice up here. You're not in the sun.
It really is, huh?
Okay, so I was following the little game trail here. Just put my phone there. There's a little bit of an impression here. And we've got an impression there. Not very big, but going down this way. Could be some elk. Here. Something small. Our human trail is down there. We got the game trail here. Bunch of feathers in the trail. Yeah, I've seen a couple already. So Cliff is down there. We just saw him on the trail. So even up here, a couple 100 feet up from the trail, you can still have a pretty good view on it. Oh yeah. There's a couple over here too. Something right there, you kind of see it. Is that scratches or is it just peeling off? I don't know. Could be a cougar. Yeah. And cats do cat things. The cougar scratch is going up. We got a picture and show it to Nico. See what he thinks.
At some point it was down on the snow and something ran over
just
it.
went over it.
A lot of times these that are leaning out have popped back up.
Let's see the
Snow
hair.
low.
Gonna collect
And
these
they'll have like
hairs.
tire marks on them.
Yeah, because you guys got the microscope, right? You can.
Yeah, we can at least take a look at
Definitely
it.
take that and look at it.
Oh, I will. Yeah, let me get my backpack.
Yeah.
Get
some paper or something.
It was moving. That's why I saw it.
White to red.
Another tuft of hair right here.
I don't know, is that? I don't know. I already grabbed that one, so.
You know,
You got caught in the spider web there.
I wish I had brought that other stuff.
I got my DNA kit in the car too.
It tells
Not
us,
that it really matters.
tells
It's
us
just paper
instantly if
bags.
it's a Sasquatch or not.
Yeah, it's a Sasquatch. It's like if you dip it in the solution, if it turns green, it's a Sasquatch. It's a specially designed thing that Bruce Wayne and I developed.
You take it home and grow your own Sasquatch.
Yeah.
There you go. Put it in a bathtub and it'll grow in a few days. Yeah, those tweezers aren't super articulate, so.
Hey, we're not coming away empty-handed, which I love.
Nice.
Is that hair or is it spider web? Spider web.
Yeah. I think that's the last hair on there.
I bet this is bear.
Yeah, could be.
Although it's pretty thin for
Bear
bear.
tuft there too.
That's
I
the
want to
main
make
tuft.
sure I got
Yeah,
everything
he got
here.
the one from up there. The one I gave you was from down here, but I didn't see any lower here other than that. Oh, there's a little, there's a clump here too, actually. But that's the main one. Nice. A couple inches long.
I like the color.
Yeah, it goes like almost a reddish yellow to a white.
Yeah, it might be bear still, but I like the red color in there.
Hey, bear's still cool, man. I like finding hairs of anything. Found a lynx hair on the side of a cabin up in Alaska. That was cool.
That is cool.
It's like cats are cats. So there's another clump right here. Actually, no, those are. Oh, yeah, it might be actually here. I kind of just grabbed it already, but I'll start in there. Yeah, those are pretty white. I think that's it on here. I don't see anything else.
There's one here.
Oh yeah, look at that. There's one more on there. Yeah.
You can actually almost see if it is a boot. You know, maybe it is a boot. Maybe this is the back end of the boot.
Crease in the middle.
But the front looks pretty wide.
Those look like toes. 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4.
What is it?
I bet you it's 11 and a half. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, that might be one.
That might be the guy. But what can you do in the duff? You know, I don't know.
You can cast that. That's easy to cast.
Yeah.
So we're gonna cast this 11-incher. Do you think it was wet when it was pressed in?
Yeah, that's how this stuff is made. Like the organic material becomes saturated, and then anything pressed down on top of it squeezes it with the weight.
Yeah.
And then later, when it dries, the organic material actually keeps the same shape.
Kind of retains that shape. Yeah.
Maybe hard to see on camera, but there you go. It's hard to see on camera.
You can almost see. I mean, yeah, it's the toes there. I mean, I don't know. It's maybe a little something outside, yeah.
Yeah, but it's so loose, you know? Extra plaster.
Well, here we go. We have track casted. And what do you guys think? Seems like it's been a pretty good day overall, I would say.
Yeah, I think so.
How do you feel, Dave? Do you feel satisfied?
No, I don't. I don't feel satisfied. Kicking myself for not chasing that Sasquatch. Yeah. Another day of squatching, you know.
Yeah.
It was a good one. And I had to come back up here and check, you know. We
2
pulled
days,
some hairs.
man. That's
We found
fresh.
some hairs.
Yeah.
Found some hairs, which is good.
Hoping we'll find out what the hairs are, even if it's bare. I mean, still interesting.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Awesome. Well, very cool. There it is.
I think Oregon in general is a very, very special place as far as any wildlife goes, but particularly Sasquatches. I mean, you think of Bigfoot, you think of Northern California, you know, Bluff Creek and all that sort of stuff, and Washington because of the lore that came out of there, Mount St. Helens and Olympic Peninsula and stuff. Well, and right smack dab in the middle is Oregon. Oregon is where kind of both of those latitudes collide, you know, like the plants and animals up in Washington are kind of different than the plants, particularly, and some of the animals in California. Oregon gets the best of both. We've got a ton of elk, we've got a ton of bear, we've got a ton of everything. In fact, Oregon has the 3rd highest number of forested acres out of all 50 states. We used to be number 2, but I guess we logged ourselves out of that position.
Upon microscopic analysis, the hair samples we found turned out to be bear, but at least we had a result. Nico's game cameras managed to capture quite a few animals in the area, including some healthy-looking Roosevelt elk, as well as some black bear trying to get at the fish. In those months since I visited during the summer, Cliff and his team have continued to study the areas we went to, finding plenty more potential track finds. All in all, I've traveled far and wide across North America in pursuit of the Sasquatch mystery. And in that time, I've seen very few research teams with the level of persistence and dedication that Cliff and his North American Bigfoot Center crew exhibit in this endeavor. Sure, there are some, like the Olympic Project and a few others as well, but they seem to be far from the norm in the world of volunteer-based, citizen science Bigfoot investigations. To produce any sort of long-term data, this is the type of research needed. More often than not, it's not very exciting or glamorous, but it produces results slowly and steadily that someday could prove useful in a larger sense. In a day and age where just about any popular topic is sensationalized online, including Sasquatch to a large extent, we need more level-headedness and to realistically approach this subject.